When I grew up, inaccurate portrayals of Muslims on TV and film just made me feel really distraught. It's always a terrorist. If it's not a terrorist, I think they say it's like billionaires, belly dancers, and wife beaters. And I thought, wow, I wish there was something I could do about that. Very early on, it sort of became really clear once I started paying attention that the minute I go into a room with an executive, they look up a little bit, which is like, okay, they're noticing the colorful piece of cloth on my head, and it'll take them a little moment before they are done being surprised that I can speak normal English. I was never really looking for role models because I knew they weren't there. Only 5% of minority females work in episodic television, and 1.3% of minority females work in feature films. Everything in the industry is sort of an uphill thing. It's an extremely competitive industry. For the short films that I had to do, a lot of the time, I used some of my own money. Where did my money came from? I was doing things like writing e-how articles. I think I was doing somebody's like accounting for a while, and I'm not an accountant. I would just guess email addresses for like hundreds of investors. So I'm writing thousands of emails. And some people actually replied, and a lot of those people became our investors. I think at the end of all that, then I finally had the financing. My first film, The Tiger Hunter, is a comedy drama about a young man who comes from India in the 1970s on this big quest for success and to live up to his father, who was this glorious tiger hunter back home. My first movie was full of brown people, and they were Indian, and the lead character was Muslim, and that worked out. So Danny Pudi was our lead. John Heater from Napoleon Dynamite was like, Danny's on board, so he came on board. It was crazy walking onto set and be like, these are my actors. Like, I never thought that would happen. Once you get to the point where like you're actually on set and you've raised all this money and you have investors and you have like your project that you worked for years on, you can't let it get derailed. The whole thing that you fought for so long, you just need to will it into existence. We had this, very colorful, diverse crew, and they were awesome. There was an intern that flew in all the way from Canada, and she was also a Muslim girl who wore a headscarf. She was saying like, you really inspired me. She was so sweet about it. The Tiger Hunter sort of opened up the entire world for me. I got attached on a feature film with a studio recently. I sold a TV show. Anytime I come back and I tell my dad like, oh, I sold a show recently, or I'm getting hired to do this, his first question is always, but are they paying you for it? Because he's so used to those early years when that didn't happen. And now I actually get to tell him the answer is yes, which is very exciting.